John Rappaport's coming up in the fourth hour of NoMoreFakeNews.com. He coined that term 15 years ago, that the mainstream media is the fake news. So we need to put out an article explaining, we should do this. Man who coined the term fake news and copyrighted it, I know he's got it copyright, we ought to get him to get a trademark on it right now, orders the fake news to stop using his term. I mean, you really couldn't do that under under fair use, but you could have if you were selling a product under that name. It's just so crazy that he had the proper name for them 15 years ago when he started his website. So Rappaport is coming up on the transmission today. And we will also, of course, be taking your phone calls in this hour. If you just joined me, you heard the different reports where they've got everybody from the Washington Post to you name it, saying that Trump is Hitler and calling for riots and calling for him to die and for the White House to be blown up like Madonna is saying. And ABC is airing pieces during the interview with Trump showing the president being murdered as they prepare the public's mind for all of their different plans. They are not giving up. They are moving into high gear. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. And long-time callers, first-time callers, if you agree, disagree, you're welcome to call in on any subject you wish, but I am going to try to actually go to your calls and move through them quickly. Do you think that Trump is delivering on his promises? Do you think that Trump is reneging on any promises? What do you think of the first 6 days of the Trump presidency? 800-259-9231. But quick questions or quick comments because I want to move to the next person. Let's hit a few of these stories. Chinese propaganda. This is up on drudgereport.com on the right-hand side. New Hollywood movie depicts Trump-like president killing the U.S. It's an InfoWars story by Jamie White. And I keep pointing out that so many of the movies I go to see have pro-communist Chinese propaganda in them. It's getting more and more obvious. Anti-Trump Chi-Coms buying up Hollywood. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little America, a dystopian adventure movie set in the future where a Trump-like U.S. president has bankrupted America and China has called in its debts. The film, set to be produced by explosion-obsessed director Michael Bay, describes a future where the president has destroyed American economy. Again, that's what the globalists are doing. You cannot make this up. Promoting China and prompting China to call in its debts, making it the de facto owner of the country while many Americans immigrate to China for work. Oh, because China is so wonderful where they have mobile execution vans. I'm going to cut a dystopian trailer for this movie going in the future. Americans leave the hell of their republic and all of their freedom to go to China where there's mobile execution vans and where peaceful Buddhists are kept in cages for their organs to be harvested. And Americans dream of visiting the Wonderland where the rivers are so toxic they catch on fire. But see, China needs propaganda. They're not good at it. So they're buying Hollywood to produce films that are for both markets, both leftist propaganda to demoralize us and propaganda in China to make them feel good. I mean, whether you go see The Martian or whether you go see The Arrival or any of these movies, it's always America needs help. And then the Chinese president is a good guy and saves us, and they're the ones that crack all the codes, and they're the ones that give us the boosters to get to Mars, and they're the ones that teach us how to potty when we're 1 year old, and they're the ones that, you know, bounce us on their knee, and just they're so good. They're so loving. And the globalists openly say, we're looking to China to bully America into submitting to the New World Order. With straight faces on TV and in major newspapers, China sure is right about censoring the web. Boy, after Trump got elected, they've been vindicated for the great work they do knocking out fake news. Computer World, New York Times had those exact quotes. I tell you, China's really vindicated right now. I know. They sell baby parts. They boil it down and sell it for women to eat in pills and inject. God, they got the moral high ground. Yeah, you heard that Mexican president. We don't believe in walls. How dare you, America, as they build a huge one. Already have a fence. I mean, it's just too much to handle. But again, they're targeting the dumbest people they can. So, with a straight face, let me just read this to you. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little America, to make you feel small. And when the Chinese watch it, even though they're slaves, they'll just go, oh, America little. I mean, the propaganda couldn't get any more dumbed down. Autobots prepare to serve the communist Chinese. Defeat America. In fact, imagine I am Optimus Prime. They're evil Americans. I must take out Trump. Bumblebee. Megatron is actually disguised as Trump. Take him out. Don't let him cut the taxes and make America great again. And yes, we must get the other Autobots to rally against the other Decepticon, Putin. Yeah, there it is, 15 Hollywood movies that were saved by China at the box office. And now they're set to just take it over. I mean, the worse the movie is, they're just unwatchable, but it's all red flags and the Chinese president saving everyone. Who could make up the trashiness of Hollywood? Transformers, the Age of Extinction, pro-China propaganda. Yeah, even mainstream media just admits this, but they hide it in plain view. Okay, China's taking over everything. Okay, the Chinese president, they're in Switzerland at the Davos meeting, says he'll take over, don't worry. He'll stop Trump. He got like his hands on his hips like, what have I caught you doing in the cookie jar? How dare you not let us have one-sided deals? In fact, maybe they can have one where the Chinese dictator is actually like Optimus Prime, and then Trump's head is on Megatron. And he's like, prepare to die, Megatron. And it's the Chinese president. And then Trump's like, no, you will never defeat me. I'm evil. Or put Hitler's head on Megatron. I mean, the propaganda is so unwatchable, but you go in and full-grown American men sit there and go, get him, yeah, get him, oh, yeah, get him. They have the NFL coming out against the Second Amendment, and now good old boys are like, I like the NFL. It's time to turn the guns in. I believe in Obama now. Ugh. I hate John Wayne. That's it. The Chinese president's head can be on Optimus Prime, and they can resurrect John Wayne and put his head on Megatron and have the Chinese president cut the head off John Wayne. I'm John Wayne. I'm evil. And then he comes back as Megatron. No, he comes back as Optimus Prime. I can't even believe this anymore. But this is how dumbed down their constituents are. Let me stop right there. Now listen to this with a straight face. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little America. How about they put out a movie like Americans Have Small Penises? That'd be even better. Or Americans are all stupid. I mean, this is just to demoralize us. Hollywood is a complete sworn enemy of this country in their own crazy bubbles, so desperate to destroy us that they have now gone even more over the top than I thought they could. What a joke. So worthless, so bankrupt, so over, so despised, so bypassed that they're in a love fest with a collapsing communist dictatorship that has a fake stock market and is already collapsing. China is descending into hell. Let me continue. Hollywood, I guess Chi-Com would, or Trader would, is set to begin work on Little America. Talk about the most brazen propaganda. I'm sorry, I can't read this with a straight face. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little Pee-Pee. I'm sorry. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little Ding Dong. Okay, I apologize, folks. Hollywood is set to begin work on Little America, a dystopian adventure movie set in the future where a Trump-like U.S. president has bankrupted America. It was the globalists did that. And China has called in its debts. Good, you'll totally collapse. The film, set to be produced by explosion-obsessed director Michael Bay, who does the Transformers, describes a future where the president has destroyed the American economy, prompting China to call in its debts, making it the de facto owner of the country, while many Americans immigrate to China for work. China's actually produced TV ads years ago saying just this. I mean, this is complete 100% communist dictatorship. I got a new idea. How about Kim Jong-un? He likes Hollywood. How about he underwrites with maybe some of the slave mines they've got, some of that money, and it can be officially underwritten by starving North Koreans, because this is the same thing. China does stuff just as worse, or probably even worse than this. How about that? How about, that's a great idea, how about North Korea start underwriting movies? And in it, Kim Jong-un can star. Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un is Optimus Prime. Kim Jong-un, I am here as Optimus Prime to defeat you, Trump. And then he literally just rips the arms out. Take this, Trump. Take that, Megatron, Trump. See, it's perfect. Just have some laser beams and Shuba Blaboof or whatever his name is running around ducking the, and battling the evil Americans. Man, this shows you how close the country was to being completely gone. They were going ahead with the Chinese takeover of our media and our culture. Not parachutes coming down like Red Dawn, but cultural. Universal Pictures recently picked up the rights to the movie after a heated bidding war with several producers, reports The Hollywood Reporter. The plot of the movie follows a former American Force Recon member who's, our special forces joined with the Chinese. Oh, you can't make this up. The plot of the movie, skip the break, I have to do this. This is too funny. I'm gonna get serious right now and then go to your calls. I'm actually gonna read this in the voice of Optimus Prime. The plot of the movie follows a former American Force Recon Marine who was hired by the Chinese billionaire to infiltrate an American ghetto and rescue his daughter. See, it's okay that he works for the Chinese because he's rescuing his daughter, see, and creating a race war. I can't believe this is even allowed to go on. This is foreign outside propaganda. I know the Russians aren't. The tone of the movie is said to be similar to the 1981 John Carpenter film, Escape from New York, starring Kurt Russell. We're going to come back into the next break with that music. These efforts to portray Trump as a weak leader responsible for America's downfall is no coincidence. Neither is the portrayal of China as the real controller of America. Just a few months ago, China bought all 6 Hollywood studios in an unprecedented buy-up, a movie meant to repurpose Hollywood films to serve China's agenda. It's hard to stay in Optimus Prime. Including influence public perception with state-sponsored propaganda. Is this lost to anybody? We're told the Russians are the reason that Trump was elected when they basically had no involvement. But Communist China is openly buying up the 6 big Hollywood studios. They've already begun. They're involved saying we can't have Trump. So's the Pope. So's the EU. 1/5 of Hillary's money came from the Saudi Arabians. And Trump needs to come out against this right now. In fact, I'm shooting a special message to Trump today. They're going to have to pull the Star Destroyer out of the asteroid field so I can send a clear signal. But I'm going to send a transmission. And seriously, folks, you send a transmission that China thinks we're so broke back and so pathetic that they're openly buying up all the studios, telling people what movies should come out. They blocked Red Dawn 2 from coming out, made them re-edit it to take China out, and are now totally taking over. Remember about 6 years ago when you were laughing at me saying China was taking over and they had all the white supremacist sites going, oh, shut up, Jones, quit covering up for the Jews and all the rest of it. I was in Hollywood. I was in the meetings. It was happening. I was hearing, oh, that can't come out. You can't criticize China. Whatever you do, just don't put China in it. And it wasn't just because they wouldn't allow the film to be in China. It's because they're buying everything up. This is globalism. Them ganging up militarily, corporately, culturally, and taking over the United States with corporate colonization and anchor babies. And I love Chinese people when they're American. They're hardworking, Americana, great, beautiful, wonderful people. But the people they're sending over now with the anchor babies to get a U.S. citizen kid are admittedly part of a larger takeover plan. And our government has greased the skids for it. And we've got a major Chinese invasion on our hands. And that isn't rhetorical. It's textbook, mega massive, 21st century, full spectrum dominance warfare. So, of course, they're telling us it's the Russians who are under the same attack trying to stabilize. Russia and the United States are under globalist attack. The globalists had control of the U.S., but they were about to fully chop the country's head off and put the Chi-Coms basically in charge. Look at Davos 2 weeks ago. People aren't laughing now. They openly said, we will teach America. We will bring in world government. We will defeat Trump. You know what? Trump, there's been some talk about Trump blocking these mergers because it is a trust, a propaganda trust. I'm not even sure that's needed. We need to boycott Hollywood now. We need to picket these films, just like we did Machete that was funded by the White House to create racial division. And we need to point out the communist Chinese are funding anti-American films, openly funding it. and openly showing sedition in America and trying to make our country fall, this is enemy propaganda. They won't even let films into China that are even pro-free market or even talk about God. So they allow total censorship of their country, and now they're here trying to influence our election and involved, and Trump needs an investigation of the Chinese communists and the Saudi Arabians and others in our election, and we can send the people involved in the DNC to prison and say, see, it wasn't the Russians. This is the normal course. Some MSM, dinosaur trader media, will say, the sky is green when it's blue, Alex. No, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. This isn't going to happen. There's no such thing. You're trying to be fascist. No, I'm calling for law to be enforced. We have the communist Chinese that the globalists have sold our jobs out to and tried to position us to be their minions, stealing all our technology, openly trying to lecture us right now. That they own us and control us. It's sickening. And I've told you for years, who have they linked up with? The global central banks, the EU, the communist Chinese, and the Muslims, led by Saudi Arabia and their dominant form of Wahhabist cult garbage. And they've all linked up against what's left of Europe, what's left of the UK, and what's left of the US and Australia. And for them, the globalists are making it race-based because that's always a good operating system for tribalism. With China, it's race-based. With Latin America, they're trying to make it race-based, though most Latin Americans are rejecting it. With Africa, they're making it race-based, though most Africans are rejecting it. They are. But still, we have got a big battle. We ought to be thanking God for Trump and the fact that he sees this and understands this attack profile. And you ought to be getting this live transmission link and this archive when it comes out later today about the communist Chinese plan to take over America with the Democrats to everyone you know. Remember Bill Ayers back in the 70s wanted to have Chinese come in and help run the death camps for Americans that came out in court? They were just thinking old-fashioned with physical Chinese. First, the propaganda rolls out. All right, let's go to your phone calls to Zach and Cindy and James and Kevin and Blake and others. Let's go to Blake. He says he disagrees from Texas. You're on the air, Blake. Welcome.
Alex, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks.
I disagree, not about the communist Chinese or Hollywood. I disagree with something you said yesterday. Was that you didn't want a presence in the White House press room. I think that's, I mean, well, of course you're, I mean, it's your operation, and I think it's, I mean, you feel like you can be more of an impact on the outside. I think it's just such a tremendous opportunity to be able to ask the president any kind of question, to be able to control the news cycle. I think it's a great opportunity.
Well, I think you're taking out of context what I said, okay? A, we have to have the money. I got people running around here saying, send me to Washington, send me to Washington. Well, do it on your own money. Go now. I mean, I actually have to run an operation. I have to have real money. I have to actually then plan things out. I have to make sure who I send doesn't just, screw off all day. I can't get basic operations I want to launch from older plans done, so I have to finish those. The world's full of ideas, not a lot of action. So I do agree we need to be there and ask real questions, and it's important. And I did criticize the fact that they're going to ABC and they're going to CNN first. Well, where's Breitbart? Breitbart's important. So Bannon is in the White House. Who cares? There were tons of people from the media inside the Clinton and Obama White Houses and back and forth. So, yes, I'm going to get around to, trying to figure out who we want to try to send up there to do that and to be in those press conferences. I told Paul Watson I think he's the best choice. And that's who was recommended, to us, like, hey, we like Paul Watson. And just, so I got to go through that process of doing that and of getting into those events. I just don't want to make it all about chasing the tail like old-fashioned media. We can sit there and talk about the issues in live time. We can tweet Trump and Facebook Trump and have him respond days later. They're listening. They're watching. I'm not going to get into any details, but the president routinely listens to the show. Okay, so you want to talk to Trump? You want to ask him a question? Go ahead and do it right now. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think a great, I mean, asking him about, for instance, the communist Chinese, doing this, asking him.
Absolutely. That way we can inject. Totally. Yeah. The communist Chinese admit they're taking over our media. They have major movies coming out where China takes over America. Is this something that is a national security issue? Because no other country on earth would put up with something like this being done inside their nation. Our media being taken over by China is the real fake news issue, and they're calling for censoring independent media in this country, sir. They're calling for shutting down our free press. They're making a move on America's First Amendment, Mr. President. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, another something I had thought about was that, again, ABC News, NBC News will not ask the president, but you know, he was talking about investigating a lot of the voter fraud. Well, what has been made public, at least what Sean Spicer had indicated, was that they were going to be looking at illegal immigrant voting and you know, people being bussed in, things like that. But are they also going to be looking at the rigged machines? Are they also would they consider consulting Bev Harris, people like that?
Absolutely. I've already sent a report to Trump on all this, and we have public reports. It's the public reports that are the best because we can then lay it all out and we can break it all down here and then show it to everybody. And then we, the people that Trump's listening to, get the intel to him. The president spends hours every day going over stacks of independent Americana media. God bless you. Great point, Blake. I don't think we disagree. We'll be back. This has been adopted as of 2017 by the Department of Defense. All 4 branches of the military, Combat One. And guess who in the spring of 2017 has the exclusive right to sell this to everybody else but the military? Infowars.com. I want to commend Q and Patrick and the rest of our team. I want to commend Combat One for getting the big Pentagon deal. And I want to thank them for supporting us because they know we support America. We are the exclusive source of Combat One skin and muscle optimization, field foam, field spray, skin and muscle optimization, and broad spectrum hygiene tactical bath. Contains 8 pre-moistened cloths. Ladies and gentlemen, these are incredibly affordable, and they have patented proprietary systems that annihilate germs, you name it, across the board. That's why it's been adopted by the Pentagon, by the Defense Department, system-wide. I'm going to go over some of the numbers, some of the proven statistics, and the claims that Combat One can make right now. Never before has the public been able to access this new Combat One military-grade hygiene technology used by special operations to maintain hygiene during survival situations. Studied for safety and effectiveness by St. John's Medical Research Institute, St. Jude's, and the American Journal of Infection Control. The technology behind Combat One wipes kills bad bacteria while leaving beneficial skin bacteria unharmed. That's the key buffer. The toxic wipes, the sanitizers kill everything, including your immune system. They lower your fertility. It's all admitted. Combat One is able to do this naturally by only targeting the bad stuff. And again, it's all patented. It's super secret. 12 years, Special Forces testing it. This is something every info warrior needs to order, needs to have in their home, needs to use in their daily lives, whether it's cleaning your guns or your own skin or when you're out camping. This is the game changer. The entire family of Combat One is available exclusively at InfoWarsStore.com.
Just coming back from the river where I was using one of our water filtration straws, a certain device we sell here at InfoWarsStore.com, and I had smacked my knuckle pretty hard the other day with my knife after cleaning one of the animals. So I'm going to use some Combat One foam, show you guys that we actually use it, how well it works. This wound's been open for about 5 days now. I just dipped it in and out of the river, so just to better safe than sorry. Once I let that soak in, I'll wrap it up, field dress, and nice and clean again.
And it certainly is coming to the rescue with Combat One, born in America, made in America, and now distributed by InfoWars to America.